Discussing the top tracks from the artists we love. Top 5's with KXVU.
We've seen DWE over the years really become somewhat of almost like a legendary figure, and he's still very much in his prime, which is why I'm so excited to get into today's listing. The general layout of what he does, there's always so much uniqueness, there's always so much originality to the different tracks he brings, and different flow patterns he brings as well. He's one of those artists that you can immediately recognize, but is also able to transfer his skill set across different areas. Again, that's why I'm super excited to be getting into today's top 5s on man like DWE. So we've got 5 tracks to run. We're going to be running about a minute of each one of them and breaking down why they're in the position they're in. Track 1 on today's listing, as in number 5 in the order. This one goes by the name of Fresh and Clean. Now, the reason this is in today's listing is because this is a tune that really has introduced DWE to mainstream entertainment more than anything else. This was a Christmas theme tune for, I can't remember who it was. I think it was IKEA. This was the Christmas theme tune for. It's an absolute banger at the same time. It's a classic sounding grime tune, and that's why it's number 5 on today's listing. So keep it locked.
I must confess.
Sounds of DWE on this one, track entitled Fresh and Clean. That one is number 5 on today's top 5 listing. Now, that's probably the most recent entry from all of the tracks we have in here. We have to remember that DWE has been around for a hot minute. He's an artist that really has been blessing grime across numerous generations. He's one of the few people that really has brought out essentially a banger a year in regards to track listings and his discography, which is absolutely incredible. That's before we even talk about features and general kind of collaborations as well. His solo tunes are on a different planet. So what we're going to be doing now is moving into track 4 on today's listing. This one was off DWE's most recent album project. Obviously, he does have a new album dropping in a couple of weeks, so I wanted to get this in just before then to make sure that we were able to kind of have a bit of context to what's going on with things. But this one goes by the name of Nang. It's an absolute banger. It's just gone 34 minutes past 9 here on Trickstar Radio. Make sure you are hitting that subscribe button at the bottom of the page over on youtube.com/CubCamTV. CubCamTV as well. Don't go anywhere.
Come with a what, come with a them and a what, them and a.
Just gone 35 minutes past 9 here. We're back inside the building. It's Trickstar Radio. Thank you for joining us live on the show, or if you're watching back via YouTube, as I said before, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Moving forward, we're going to get into number 3 on today's listing. We've been counting down. Number 5 was Fresh and Clean. Number 4 was Nang. Number 3, however, is when we go properly back into the past. Now, this for DWE was a, not career-defining tune, but this for me was a genre-defining tune. This was a track that when it landed, changed the kind of landscape of what was going on in grime at the time, and it really solidified what grime was. The individuality behind the vocal presence that DWE brings to this one, even the production levels behind it are incredible on this tune, and it really does stand the test of time. This one, of course, is Frontline, one of the biggest grime tunes to ever land across different eras as well. You can run this in a dance to this day and it'll still get the exact same reaction it would have got back in the day. So that's why this one lands at number 3 on today's top 5 listings. Out to the locked in crew each and every time. Don't go anywhere. We're live on Breakfast with KXVU. Oh yes.
Think you're a big boy, but you got a beard. Bullets will make your face look weird.
Sounds of DWE. We are running through the top 5 right about now, DWE tunes, and I'm enjoying this one very much so. Obviously, as a grime fan, I've been a fan of DWE for a number of years now. Well, I say a number of years. We're talking over a decade of enjoyment. One of the most unique sounding vocalists in grime, and I think that's what's made him really stand the test of time. I've seen videos of D-Double turn up in a dance, literally go ooh ooh, and the entire room go absolutely bananas. It's insane the amount of presence this guy has, the amount of respect as well as a vocalist, and I think that's because he's always stayed true to what he likes. He's obviously ventured out into different genres over the years, but he's always been one of the most consistent vocalists within grime, which is why we're going to get into this one next. This one, number 2 on today's listing. Now, this may not be one that a lot of people agree with, but for me, this is a clear number 2. It is, of course, Bad to the Bone over the instrumental Woo RIDDIM. This is one of the biggest cuts of this tune, if not the biggest cut, and it's one of the biggest instrumentals all time. So that's why we're going to get into this one now. Don't go anywhere, people. It's breakfast.
Back to the microphone, back to the microphone, back to the bone.
Just gone 20 to 10 here. We're live on Trickstar Radio. Out to the locked in crew, whether you are locked in via the obviously the radio live, via DAB, via Radio Cult, via the Trickstar Radio app, via TuneIn, via any of the numerous platforms you can catch us on, or of course watching back via the YouTube channel. Make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. Get involved, people. We're nearly at 4,000 subs. So what we're going to do next is get into the number 1 DWE tune of all time. Now, I've struggled a little bit choosing the number one DEE tune. But the reason I've chosen this one is because it's a solo tune of DEE's, which will never get old. It was a tune that did damage when it first landed. It's a tune that will still do damage in a dance to this day. It's a tune that still gets the instant reload. Even if you play the instrumental, you get people in the crowd singing along to the vocal as it would normally be. So, without further ado, let's get into number one on today's listing for DEE's Top 5, the number one track. This one goes by the name of Street Fighter RIDDIM. It couldn't be anything else. Let's be real, people. This has been another episode of Top 5's. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Oh, yes.
If it's me or my dad, you get a scar in your chest like Saka. She fighting, that's what I'm bad at. My thing working perfect.
Discussing the top tracks from the artists we love. Top 5's with KXVU.